Grab your beverages and turn up your interweb. Coming to you live from Bobalu Cigar Company in Austin, Texas. It's the Dudes and Beer 150th episode celebration. Host, and with us tonight is of course Stephen Bishop. Forever and always Stephen is here with us. With us also is the owner of Bobalu Cigars, our host venue for the evening for this fantastic 150th episode, Mr. Jeff Lipton. How have you been doing, Jeff?
Great. How are you?
Been doing all right, man. So let's start off a little bit with the news of the week, actually. That's our new segment at the top of every show, and we've had some wild stuff going on in the news. These are all articles that we post on our Dudes and Beer group on Facebook, so go by, check that out. We're always starting conversations on there. We had a lengthy one last night. Stone Winchester's here. We have Dean Larragnega. We also have Mr. Jeffrey Gottlieb, quite a few regular listeners. We got some more people coming here in a little while. But the first story comes out of The Guardian. Boston Dynamics is teaching its robot dog to fight against humans. The well-mannered four-legged machine Spot Mini has already proven it can easily open a door and walk through unchallenged obstacles. But now the former SoftBank robotics firm is teaching the robot canine to fight back. Out of Bloomberg, we have mines linked to child labor are thriving in the rush for car batteries. That's right. We talked about that with whenever we had the Austin sustainability guy on.
Oh, yeah. We sure did.
The climatologist for Austin talking about the strip mining of lithium and things like that.
I called in on that one.
And apparently there has been like a huge report that's come out saying that like a good quarter of the production going on in Africa comes straight out of slave mines, that kind of stuff. National Geographic let us know this last week, Mayan artifacts were found in the world's largest underwater cave. These include artifacts from human sacrifice as well as animal sacrifice. On a similar note, Fox let us know that the Great Pyramid of Giza's near perfect alignment was found, and how they did it was actually by, from what they can tell, going through and aligning it with the fall equinox. The fall equinox apparently lies directly there on the Great Pyramid of Giza.
Right.
So Gizmodo let us know that half of the DNA on the New York City subway matches no known organisms.
I like that article.
Yeah, it was pretty odd, as a matter of fact. Just the
that was wild.
The concept that they cannot recognize most of the DNA that's been swabbed from the New York City subway rails. And
I could have told them that.
Well,
they didn't have to
but
go.
the fact, like, it's one thing, like they said, they found a lot of staph infection, things like that, of course. But the fact that some of it matched to no known organism is just a little bit disturbing, and kind of goes to that Men in Black.
It's the subway monsters.
Yeah, exactly. It's
right?
the lizard people. Out of USA Today, also, Switzerland now makes it illegal to boil a lobster. They've found that lobsters actually do feel pain, and the practice has been outlawed by straight boiling them. You first have to put them into seawater and stab them in the brain. Ouch! That is apparently the most humane way, is just to stab them quickly in the brain with a knife, and then boil them and enjoy them because they're delicious. A little known fact with lobsters, believe it or not, until the early 1920s, late 1910s, early 20s, they were actually considered cruel and unusual punishment to feed lobsters to prisoners in Maine. They were known as sea roaches. They were all over the beach, and it was not until Queen Elizabeth came and visited and went, "What's that?"
Anybody that wants to bring by their lobsters over to Bobalu, I will take them off their hands, please.
Yeah,
that's right.
Them roaches
we love
are good
lobsters
eats.
Over here. We love to eat them.
Yeah. They're good eats.
Laser scanning reveals a lost ancient Mayan city that has as many buildings as Manhattan. New LiDAR scans have shown that entire village has been found the size of Manhattan, with buildings in jungle so dense that regular travel was not possible. Wired let us know that lab-grown meat is coming, whether you like it or not.
The meat clown.
Scientists, Daily Mail reported that scientists detected more than 200 earthquakes in just 10 days after warning that the magma flow below the surface of Yellowstone is showing signs of strain. Wall Street Journal let us know that a South Korean cryptocurrency regulator was found dead in his home, apparently of unknown causes, but his heart was stopped when they found him. Jefferson, Texas, has apparently declared itself the Bigfoot capital of Texas, and the geological epicenter of Bigfoot sightings for the state. So we are definitely going to have to get a hold of the Texas Bigfoot Conference and founder Craig Woolheater to talk about that fantastic title that they have, and more about the apparently the Bigfoot Conference. We got to go do something live from the Bigfoot
so sick,
Conference.
Man.
And Truth in Media, our good friend Ben Swan, loves him Ben Swan, let us know that the former director of CIA admits that the U.S. has actively interfered in foreign elections. And when asked by reporter, have we ever tried to meddle in other countries' elections? The response by the head of the CIA was surprisingly candid. Oh, probably, but it was for the good of the system, said Woolsey. So, yeah, there you have it.
Good for one,
the
but not the
news
other.
of the week, folks. So, yeah, that kind of gets us springboarded into some conversations. I think.
Well, I've got an idea.
Go ahead.
The mechanical dog.
Mm-hmm.
Why don't we put those in the school?
Ooh, yeah.
I mean,
They could fight off all kinds of stuff.
That thing comes running at you full speed. I don't know if I would have my gun up or what. I don't know what I would do, but it would seem pretty ominous.
Yeah, that would be more than just a little bit frightening to have robots like that going around performing security at locations, things like that.
They probably don't make $15-20 an hour either. You know?
One of my favorite. I
don't get sick.
I'm a nerd to the nth degree, and I'm not. I've never denied that ever in my life. I remember the first girl I ever asked to go out told me I would, but you're too weird. So. Yeah, I was a huge MacGyver freak, and one of my favorite episodes ever was one where the security robots at this firm had gone crazy and were shooting lasers at people and stuff, and he had to like rig up prisms to make them shoot themselves. It was pretty intense. MacGyver always had the way out.
He can make a bomb out of Bisquick or something, some crazy
absolutely.
stuff.
Well, let's get into some cigars here, Jeff. We've actually been enjoying some this evening. We did a little live plug beforehand on Facebook and talked a little bit about some of these. I'm about to light up one of the boxers that y'all have. Tell us a little bit about the history of that cigar.
Okay, well, for first of all, for any of y'all that don't know, Bobalu is a cigar manufacturer. We're located here in Austin, Texas. We've been doing this for 21 years. We make all the cigars, our own cigars, so we don't buy anybody else's brand. So you come here, you're going to get something local. You're going to get something that's manufactured here. But the Boxer is a special cigar. This was named after one of my dogs, which was a boxer, obviously. And I lost 2 of them last year, and I named one of the cigars after her. This was our 19th anniversary cigar. She had cancer, so this is a great cigar. It's aged. These are aged 3 years. They sit in our humidor for 3 years while they're aging. So, what that means to you as a customer is you come in, they are going to be good. I promise you, these are good. And the thing with the last batch of boxers, we had a cigar roller named Armando de Armas, our first cigar roller, and he just passed away recently. And we found some cigars that he had rolled about 3 years ago, and those were the boxers that we are putting out now. Great cigar. You can't beat it. There's nothing like it. It cost us a lot of time and effort and money to hold cigars for 3 years without selling them in our humidor in our aging room. So
absolutely,
this is what makes those special and what makes those an anniversary cigar. And I'm sure you can attest it's pretty good. I'm down to the nub on mine. This is one of the things we can do that some of the bigger companies can't do. We can turn on a dime. We can have something. I set these aside. I didn't know that they were going to be 3 years, but by the time we found them, yeah, they were 3 years old. We make all kinds of cigars. That's just one of them, and I hope you like it.
Oh, it's fantastic. It's got an extraordinarily mild flavor for the tobacco that's in it. Tell us a little bit about the filler and the wrap. First off, let's explain the process of rolling cigars to our audience. What the Torcedor is doing right back here behind us.
Well, each cigar starts with we use on this cigar an age filler, Dominican filler. We use a couple of different leaves in the blend. We use one that's a leaf that is a Cuban seeded leaf, which is going to give the burn qualities, and then we have another leaf in there, which is a Dominican leaf, which we add in to give it flavor. We blend those two together. We're going to wrap those up in a binder leaf, which is from Ecuador, and then we're going to put those in a mold. We're going to put them in a press, and they're going to get to be where they're very round. After they're in the press for about 45 minutes, we're going to put them, finish them off with the wrapper leaf of our choice, and then we'll put them out either on the shelf or in our aging rooms to age a little bit. Now, the reason why that cigar tastes so smooth is because cigars tend to meld together and the flavors get a little bit better and a little bit mellower as they age in the aging room. Most of the time, cigar manufacturers, I mean, let's face it, when you roll the product, you don't want to sit on it, you want to move it. And they tend to age them as little as possible to get them out so they can, make more stock and sell more. That's basic business right there.
Sure.
The Dominican Republic, any cigars that come in the United States from the Dominican, for example, have to be fumigated, and it takes about 60 days or so for the fumigation to wear off of the cigar so they can ship them in the United States. So that's the reason why most of the companies age their cigars. All the tobacco we use on the filler is about 5 years old for that. Most of the filler we use on regular cigars is about 3 years old. Wrapper leaf is anywhere from 1 to 3 years old. And that's what makes a cigar. Now, we have a whole stable of Cuban cigar rollers that every one of them rolled and was a master in Cuba. And you can actually come watch them make cigars right in front of you. They'll show you how they do it. This is a process that's all done by hand. This is the way they did it, hundreds of years ago, and it hadn't changed since then. And again, a lot of hands have touched this cigar and touched the process of making it, and that's why there's a little bit of cost in buying a really good cigar. But it's worth it. And, you get what you pay for, and we think we make some of the best cigars, and that's what we do. We've been doing it for 21 years, and you don't last long in this business if your cigars suck.
Right.
Yeah.
Because people do not come back. They don't try you again. You can get people to try you once. But if you can't get them to buy over and over again, then you're just not going to make it.
Yeah. Yeah. And, like you said, y'all just celebrated your 21st year. Congratulations on that. These are a fantastic anniversary smoke. I'm loving it for our 150th episode anniversary myself. I actually just had one of your triple kappas a while ago. I love the double and the triples. Tell us a little bit about how those are made.
Well, the triple kappa is obviously 3 wrappers. It looks like a barber pole, but it's got 3 wrappers. So you got a very light colored Connecticut shade, you got a medium colored Habano wrapper, and you got a green Candela wrapper, which is it's a type of leaf that when the sun hits, when it's fermented, it turns green from the chlorophyll in it, so it's green. Just gives you a really good look. People like it. It's one of our kind of specialty kind of cigars. The Doble cap, on the other hand, is much more traditional. It's looks like a barber pole also, but it's light and dark. It's
got
just
one right.
Yeah, it's just a good selling cigar, very mild. It's just another
one of my favorites that y'all make, by the way.
Yeah,
I absolutely love these.
We have to, being an independent cigar maker, we have to try harder than the other guys. We can't rest on our laurels and say, well, we made this, that's good enough. We always have to be coming up with the next great thing, and it's hard to do.
Well, and what I find interesting is that this is larger than most cigar shops that I've stepped into. It's definitely larger than your 6th Street location was. But what I find most impressive is the size of the humidor, B, the fact that there is not another cigar by another roller in your humidor. Your humidor is completely full of Bobalu stock. It's completely full of the different styles, the different grades of tobacco. It's literally a plethora of probably close to about 60 different types of cigars in there.
Well, we make about 25 different lines, but if you take all the different sizes and shapes and all the stuff we do, it takes a lot. People want to, if you want to get their business all the time, you have to have a variety. Look, if it was so easy that I could make one cigar and everybody liked it, we'd have one cigar.
Yeah.
It would be a lot easier. My life would be very, very easy, and we would make one, and we'd always have it, and there it is. But the fact of the matter is that people like a variety. They want to walk in and see tons of different choices. And everybody's taste buds are different. I mean, what tastes good to you and mild and smooth might be very strong to somebody else. One that's very strong to me might be just is very mild to somebody else. There's just no right or wrong. It's this kind of same thing as I like broccoli and you don't. Everybody's taste buds are different, so we have to have a very wide variety. But we want to make sure that when somebody comes in, that we get them the proper cigar. If you haven't smoked, or you're a novice, or you smoke once a year, we don't want to get you something that's going to get you overwhelmed, ill, nauseous.
Yeah.
We want to have you have a great experience, because if I don't get you the right cigar and you come in and it's too strong for you, you're probably going to say it sucked, and then you're going to walk out of here and they're going to say those cigars aren't any good.
Yeah.
And if we do our job and we ask you the few questions and get you the right cigar, we have a feeling you're going to like it, and then you're going to come back and see us again. And basically, that's what we hope for, and that's what we do.
Now, yourself, having done this as long as you have, when people come into your shop for the first time, wanting to buy a cigar for somebody, wanting to buy a cigar for themselves for the first time, where do you normally, what side of the humidor, what box do you normally take them to?
Well, if you look at the pie of cigar smokers, you're going to find, really, when it comes down to it, that about 90% is a very mild cigar, and 10% are the cigar fanatics that it's never strong enough. They like them very hearty, and they're seasoned cigar smokers.
Yeah, the woozy smoke.
Yeah, and I'm sure that's the same with beer too.
Sure.
Some of the stronger and more hearty beers, your novice is not going to like.
Right.
So we start them off with a very mild blend. The yellow label, my white label. These are cigars that are very, very mild. They're not going to get anybody overwhelmed.
Yep.
They're going to have a good experience. Now, if a seasoned smoker would happen to smoke one of those, he might say, well, it's a little too mild for me, but what else you got? Whereas if I get a novice smoker the wrong thing, he's just never coming back.
Exactly.
So, yeah.
We need to make sure we do our job. And look, we spend a little bit more time because people don't know about us. They don't know why we're different. You walk into any other cigar store, and you're going to find, they sell tons of cigars from different brands. They don't know where they come from. They come from distributors or whatever. We know where they come from. We know that everything we make, we know what it is, and we have it here, and that's what makes us different. If that's what you like to buy local, you like to buy made in the USA, you like to buy from somebody that's, you can see what they're doing, this is what we do.
Yeah. It's really the open kitchen concept here at Bobalu. The fact that, like, you get to see the sausage getting made.
That's a good analogy. And I mean, people like to watch the chefs. They like to sit in the kitchen.
Exactly.
I mean, that's a newer phenomenon, but people like to do that. They like to see it. I mean, if you do not live in Miami, Florida, or Tampa, Florida, or maybe New York City, you don't have cigar rollers in places. You might see one here and there, but you just don't see this.
You're hard pressed to find, like, most of the time whenever you buy cigars, like, it's at Speck's Liquor Warehouse or something like that. Like that's where you're going to find your local humidor in most towns.
Or any cigar store, you walk in, and that's fine.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with that. In fact, we sell to lots and lots of cigar stores. They carry our brands just like they carry anybody else's brands. But what you get here is you get to actually buy direct from the factory, straight from the factory. There is no middleman. We don't have distributors.
Fresh.
You can either buy from us wholesale or you can buy from us retail. And that's the way it is. So there's no middlemen, there's no distributors, there's no stepping on it 5 times before it gets to you.
Yeah.
People call us and we'll send it out. That's the difference, but that's what we do.
And that's just it. Like I know a lot of people that have humidors at home. I know a couple people I've considered getting myself a small college fridge and converting it into a humidor just for keeping a decent stock. Because like I said, I definitely want to get some Dudes and Beer label cigars for us to be able to give out at events, stuff like that, be able to give out online as prizes to our audience and listeners. And you got to be able to keep them right.
Right.
And one of the things we were talking about in the humidor in the pre-show promo on Facebook, go and check that out on the Bobalu Cigar page. We'll be sharing it on Dudes and Beer, all that kind of stuff as well. But you were mentioning that you keep things a little bit higher than most places. And I like my experience that I've found at quite a few places, and I think it's just an issue with shipping. Like you said, the reason y'all keep your humidor a little bit higher is so that when they do get wrapped, when they do go through shipping, by the time they get to you, they're perfect.
Yeah, that's correct. And not that we keep it really humid because we don't want it getting moldy and mildew.
Yeah.
But we keep it around 70%. A lot of people like 68, 67. But you can be assured that we spend a lot of time and effort making sure that these cigars are in perfect shape.
Yeah.
It's not unmanned. We man this thing every day of our lives. This is the lifeblood. Now, we also, at this store, which the customers don't see, is we have a huge aging room back there, which is about 3 times the size of our regular humidor.
Oh, wow.
Where we age the cigars, where they sit on racks and they age until we ban them, box them, make them, whatever we're going to do the end product with. So cigars are always in flux. We're always making them. We're always banning them. We're always producing them. We're always shipping them. It's a constant, that's daily business around here.
And the one thing that I've found more than anything, whenever I've gone out and purchased cigars, stuff like that, is it's so much about the counter people. It's so much about the people that you have working at the establishment. The one thing that I've loved about Bobalu whenever I stepped in was that it felt more homey than other places. It didn't feel like I was being talked down to or that I was being educated or mansplained, so to speak.
Well, cigars, a lot of people think they know about cigars, but really, truly don't know about cigars. It's not something that everybody knows. People come in all the time. We want to explain things to them because we're different from the other guys. If it was just, cigar, you walk into ABC Cigars and he says, "Oh, I got this Macanudo over here."
Not affiliated with ABC Cigars.
Yeah, exactly. So he's going to tell you it's a great cigar. He's never been down there. He doesn't know what where the factory is.
He's never
know
seen
anything
the
about it. All he knows is that he's got them on the shelf and he wants to sell them to you. Whereas our people are going to know exactly what the rollers are making today. They're going to know a lot more about the cigars. They're going to know a lot more about the construction of the cigars. And if you want to hear really how cigars are made and why they're different and what's different about them, you need to come to an expert, and that's what we do.
Well, and at this point, since he's right there next to the guest chair, Jeffrey, why don't you hop over and join us real quick? So sorry, our ticket bucket is still there. Here, let me get that out of the way. I'd like Jeffrey Gottlieb, a guest who's been on quite a few of the lighter side episodes with us where we talk about some other stuff. We were having a great conversation earlier about the history of Austin, smoking cigars, things like that, and different establishments. And weigh in on that a little bit, Jeff. Like, how have you as a cigar smoker seen the scene change over the years with Austin?
Well, thanks for having me on. I actually started smoking cigars a long time ago. My dad caught me stealing his Havatampas when I was about 12, and he was going to teach me a lesson, so he bought me a big double Claro, probably Churchill, big,
Yeah.
bright green wrapper. And he said, I'm going to make you smoke this and you're going to hate it. I said, okay. So I smoked it and I didn't hate it and I didn't get sick. And it started a lifelong
You loved it, huh?
love affair with cigars. but here in Austin, I used to run a cigar room at a restaurant here in town when you could still smoke cigars.
Mm-hmm.
And it was great for a couple of reasons. It kind of capped the evening for diners. They go and have a fabulous dinner, then they could adjourn to the cigar room. They could pick out a beautiful smoke that kind of, and like Jeff said, you try to work with them and see what they regularly smoke, what style, what shape, are they looking for volume of smoke? Are they looking for something for 20 minutes? Are they looking for something for an hour and a half? And then you get them a nice beverage that goes along with it. And as a restaurateur, being able to put them in that mood, that mindset where they want to have a scotch or another whiskey or a brandy and either enjoy the company and conversation with good friends or enjoy the solitude and just leaf through a Cigar Aficionado magazine and see what life is like, in the cigar world. It's a great way to cap off an evening. There's a ritual involved. There's tools that you have. We were talking earlier about, there's we all seem to have probably 3 or 4 clippers, but we only have one bullet punch, and Chris, how long have you had that bullet punch?
I've had this one for 20 years.
Yeah.
Close to. I think I bought this before I went on my semester in Rome. Actually, this traveled to Rome and everything else with me.
I think I've had my bullet punch for the same amount of time, and it's just a circular cutter to make a small hole in the cap of a cigar rather than clipping off the end of it. And for a big cigar, which is what I like, it's much neater, much tidier, and it kind of concentrates the smoke a little bit in a smaller aperture, so you get a little more oomph, a little more bang for your buck. But that's part of the ritual, or having wood matches, or having the little cedar pieces out of a cigar box, the spills to light your cigar, so you're not using a dirty match or a Zippo, or a classic Zippo. They're nice, but they're not really cigar lighters. But it is a ritual, and it's more of an experience than tapping out a Marlboro out of a pack and lighting it up because you have to. It's a choice that you make. And it's kind of a lifestyle thing, and it's an indulgence.
And for me, it's the fact that, don't get me wrong, we have a beer sponsor on Dudes and Beer. We love Hops and Grain. They're great. Beer is what I have whenever I come home from a hard day of work. Whiskey is what I have when I want to sit out and watch the lightning bugs on my patio. And that's normally when I'm going to pull out a cigar. Whenever I come home from work, it's I'm going to have a couple beers to relax, and then I'm going to bed because I got a 5:30 a.m. call. Mm-hmm. But on nights like last night where it's got home at 10 o'clock, 10:30, I got a little bit of time. I think I'll hop out on the patio and just enjoy the silence for a little while. And
part of smoking a cigar is the act of doing it with your friends, your buddies, even acquaintances you've never met, and having conversations and really just relaxing for a few hours out of your busy day. You don't have to rush. There's no rush.
Yeah.
Nobody's on you to finish it. You can take your time and relax. And a lot of people will think that would give them more enjoyment and more satisfaction and more benefit in their health, slowing down for a few minutes a day than, smoking the cigar. So that's a big part of it. Smoking with your buddies or hanging with a group or just having a good time with people you just met and having a conversation about whatever it may be. It may be about how you cut the cigar. But you walk out of there and you say, well, that was good, and I liked it. And that's what gets people hooked on doing the cigar, not because you have to smoke one that evening.
No, and that's just it. I smoked cigarettes for years and years. I'm not going to lie. I still enjoy one here and there. But it was definitely something that, I craved a cigarette. I don't necessarily crave a cigar. It's something that, it just dawns on me, you know what? I think this would be a good time to just sit back and relax.
I have customers here that smoke 10, 12 cigars a day, and I have customers that smoke once a year. And
we have a Jedi Knight that joined us tonight that's in the back smoking a couple cigars.
and
It's great.
He lit it with the saber.
With the end of the saber.
Yeah,
that's
lit it right up. Now we could have a conversation about that all night, really.
Absolutely,
and be happy to do it.
I just got one of the groovy new lighters that y'all have. That's the
nice.
You can hear it there, folks.
Do not stick your finger.
Do not stick your
I'm not going to stick my finger in the electric.
Now, would I have to tell people not to do that? You see this arc of
energy. My new Tesla lighter.
It goes really good with Tide Pods.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, exactly.
It's the perfect complement to your Tide Pods, folks.
Oh my God. I mean, now I know we did some things as kids that I look back on and I say that was pretty stupid. I mean, I can remember, when we were riding our bikes behind the bug spraying machine in Houston, Texas.
Behind the DDT trucks.
Yeah.
Oh man,
Smoke
not
screen,
exactly
man,
the
go.
smartest, nuts in the bowl right there.
Yeah. Oh yeah, man. We had BB gun wars, all kinds of stuff. Oh hey, all right. We just had Charlie Pelletier and Richard Adams join the crowd. Welcome, gentlemen. Welcome. It's interesting to me because we're all from that generation where we jumped bikes over cousins, and good God, I had a go-kart when I was like 8 that was from Sears that had no seat belts and no sides. Man, it was a frame and a bench seat and a 3.5 horsepower motor on the back.
That sounds safe as hell.
Oh, at one point the brakes were out on it, so you had to slow down and use your foot and steer the opposite way.
I'm not sure how I made it through, because if everything that I did was dangerous, I should be not here.
Oh, and
everybody I know made it through. So
I'd be on so many watch lists now. The stuff I did as a kid.
Oh yeah.
Every kid I know from back then has about an 1.5-inch scar under his chin.
I've got one.
I actually
here.
have one.
And everybody sitting here at the table has a beard.
Yeah.
But under that beard is an 1.5-inch scar from a curb, the edge of a table,
handlebars,
handlebars,
stairs at a Holiday Inn in New Braunfels.
Mine was a statue. Somehow it cut me. I don't know what it is.
I have a 2-inch scar on my left heel. From avoiding an ass whipping from my mom.
That's what happened to me.
She came after me one time, and I thought I was going to be slick, so I jumped over and came down right on the corner of my twin bed and gashed my ankle open. When we went to the emergency room, there I am, doctor comes in and they're giving me the local, how'd it happen? And I'm like, I got her. She was trying to whip me, and I jumped over the belt. And he's like, well, what'd you learn? Time for us to stitch you up now, son.
Today would be different, I think.
Yeah, today they would haul him off.
Back in the days when you had to go break off your own switch.
Yeah.
Oh, she would. Oh, I did that more than once.
No, not that skinny
Not
one.
that
you
one.
get that, that right.
Don't give me that.
one.
Don't give me that flexible
It's like a branch.
Yeah. Cut that thing off the tree. Use some loppers.
One of the biggest mistakes I ever made was putting a TIE fighter wing in my pants. Because my dad was a kind enough dude to use his hand. He didn't use a belt or anything. But he used a belt after that one.
If my mother spanked us, we tried not to laugh, because if you laughed, you get more spanking. It was just so we played it up so hard. But,
with Dad, you knew it was going to be the belt. With Mom, it could have been a hairbrush, spoon,
spoon,
anything she had in her hand here in the kitchen. She'll take a spoon.
And you know what? Your neighbor's mother probably spanked you too, right?
Exactly.
I mean, they caught you doing something. They didn't have to ask. Your mother would, and your parents would thank them.
That was the first question first day of school every year. Is where's that pink format? I know we got the yellow one from the nurse. Where's that pink one from the office at?
We had Coach Tubbs. He would spank. He would have the board with the holes in it.
Or the paddleball racket. Ours was a former NFL player with a paddleball racket.
Whoa.
Well, AC comes at you with that. It's like, oh, you won't do that again.
Yeah. And, that's just it. This is exactly what happens over cigars. Conversations just abound because you are taking the time away from life. And it's something that we talk about a lot here on the show, the fact that we live in such a rush, now society. Everything is available at our fingertips. We were talking about it before the show, how Amazon had just purchased Whole Foods, how HEB locally here in Texas bought the Texas delivery system Favor, and all this stuff is, absolutely where you can, even the Amazon stores now, where you can walk in and just walk out with product. Like there's not even somebody there checking you out. It just goes off your Amazon account. Right. And amongst all that, I think we really do lose sight of the fact that, I'm guilty of it myself, being self-employed the way I am, of actually taking the time to literally schedule time off, to schedule time to, enjoy a cigar a couple times a week, take some time to just throttle back and really think about some stuff.
Well, we highly encourage, obviously, about that. But it is quite nice, and people that don't understand that when they do it or they have a chance to do it, they really like it. So we invite people to come on over. Hey, sit down, have a conversation, watch the Olympics, watch TV, whatever you'd like to do. But it gives you a chance to unwind a little bit, and that's really what it's all about. And if you have somebody to do it with, it's even better.
Right.
There's nothing like hanging with your best friends or your best buddy and just relaxing, having a conversation. I mean, we do as humans need to have some conversation in our life rather than just clicking on the computer all day. Mm-hmm. So, a lot of people, especially the kids these days, have no interaction. I like interaction. Most people do. And once, as you're older like us, you can sit down and have a conversation with just about anybody on any topic. It's not hard.
Right.
And people are open. They like to talk. Everybody likes to talk about what they do, themselves, what they're doing, what's fun, what they like, their dislikes. And sure, you can find common ground. And all the years that we've been doing this and having people smoke, rarely do I ever find people that don't get along. Sure, there's people that are on the opposite side of the political spectrum and all that, but you can come in and you can talk about your dogs or you can talk about your football team or whatever, and everybody can get along. And maybe they ought to have some cigars. In Congress, everybody hangs out for 3 hours and talks about things, and maybe that would get something done.
Yeah. Absolutely,
that makes sense to me.
But they're more worried about the FDA taking over and regulating it. That's where we're at right now. So, but I go ahead and propose that if anybody out there can make that happen, let's do it.
Yeah. I mean, just literally sit back and actually talk. Quit. Put all the partisan stuff aside and actually.
We need to get back to the smoke-filled room.
Just for an hour. You can do it for an hour. Everybody can get back to their own thing, and there's no right or wrong. But hey, it's a lot of fun. People have a lot of good stories. People that are from everywhere around here, they have different views and different stories than you do, and it's interesting to hear yours. And they like to hear what you say, and you like to hear what they say. It's part of the smoking. It's part of the ritual, like you, Jeff said. It's a ritual, and it is a ritual, and people take it seriously. And it's a hobby for a lot of folks, just like collecting stamps or building hot rods or anything else. Some people collect cigars,
Absolutely. I know people that have had cigars in their humidor, like you said, y'all have an aging room where they wait 5 to 7 years sometimes. Like the boxer I'm smoking right now was back there for 5 years. You should see
some of these guys' homes. They have humidors that are so big you would be floored. And I can't tell you how many times I've seen, which this is kind of funny, but I see, when I was a kid, I would take my baseball cards and I would lay them out, what do I got, and I'd group them all up. I see people my age doing that, putting their collection out and putting it in sections, and I got this many, and just looking over it and, loving it. And, I'm more like, I've got these, I'm going to smoke them. I'm not saving them for anything. I'm going to save them as in order of I smoke one. But
sure,
some people like to collect them. Some people really like to try, try a different cigar each week or each day. No,
I know people on the road who bring their sticks with them. Like I got a travel thing for mine. And they literally buy 2 cigars in every town that they go to, and they smoke one and they take one home.
That's right. The same thing with beers or whiskeys or anything else.
Exactly.
Some people collect that stuff.
We belong to a few of the same cigar groups on Facebook and stuff, Texas Cigar Club, that kind of stuff. And you see it all the time where people are posting the proud papa pictures of their humidors and stuff like that.
That's right. And there is levels of everything.
Mm-hmm.
There's there are fanatics, and there are just people that can, if you hand them one, they'll smoke it. So, and everything in between. And that's like that with anything else. So there's no difference.
Just so everybody out there knows, if you hand me one, I will rarely not smoke it.
Most. I always think that if I hand somebody one, they don't smoke it, I'm a little suspect of them.
I'll probably find some time real quick if you're handing me a cigar and saying you want to smoke a cigar.
That's right.
But I could
you can hand me a lobster too. I will take a lobster.
Yeah, exactly.
Back to that
lobster. Saying like last night at work, it was like, "Would you like some steak and salmon?" It's like, yes, I would. I would like some.
I don't
steak.
turn down
Thank
many
you.
meals either.
Yeah, exactly.
But we do one of the things that we do that's interesting, and Chris, this is that we do custom cigars. And
yes,
we actually can make cigars with your own label. So lots of people come up to their monthly sales meeting or their foursome at the golf course or whatever it may be, and they whip out their own cigars. People love it, and I mean we've done a lot of cigars for military, and it's just a great thing. People,
I think in your restroom, don't you have like a little collage up there?
Yeah, absolutely. We did a collage where this was about 15 years ago. That's an old thing, but we took labels and we just pasted it on a board, and after we had about 5,000 of them on there, we framed it up, and if you come in our restroom, you'll see it. But
it's awesome.
And if you see, most of those places that we did them for, are not around anymore. Lots of places because first of all, you can't smoke in any of those places anymore. But just about every men's club, every golf club, every bar, restaurant, Louis 106, all of them.
I saw the band Ween was on there too. Right?
Yeah, we did cigars for, we've done a lot of cigars for musicians and that kind of stuff. Lots of one of the coolest things about this business in the 21 years is all the different kind of people you meet, because let's be honest, celebrities smoke cigars, a lot of higher falutin people smoke cigars. So we've had,
give us one of your best stories.
Well,
Jeff.
one of my favorite stories is one day I'm sitting. This was about 15 years ago or so, and I'm sitting in there, and all of a sudden walk in. And I don't know if any of y'all watch wrestling when you were younger.
Oh, I know where this is going.
But we had in walks Rowdy Roddy Piper, Greg the Hammer Valentine, and the Nasty Boys.
Nice.
And so they come in, and it's like a Tuesday afternoon, and all of a sudden these guys just took over the place. There wasn't anybody else in there, but they were just completely. You would exactly like how you would think they are. These guys were so funny. They all were razzing each other and boosting each other and telling each other, one of them was calling Greg the Valentine, weak in the gym and all this stuff. And they were doing a show here, and so then they're all smoking cigars, having a great time. And I just never saw, these guys. They were absolutely entertaining. And then one of the guys, I can't remember which one of them, breaks out a joint and just starts smoking pot in the store, and what I'm going to tell them no,
Right.
So
you get a suplex that way,
right? I said, please, whatever you guys want. I'm
yes,
certainly
sir.
not going to tell them no, but it was one of the funnest.
Get nasty.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun, and I never even I wasn't apparently the Nasty Boys. They were on the Florida side, so we didn't see them in Houston where I grew up, but they were fun. These guys were hilarious, and they were a lot of fun. But we've had Tommy Lee Jones, Willie Nelson, George Lopez. Bill Engvall,
wow.
just a myriad. All the Ron White.
Mm-hmm. He's a huge cigar smoker. He's a huge.
In fact,
smoker.
we had.
I could see him getting his own rings done.
Yeah, we do cigars for Bill Engvall and his charities, but we had President Clinton sent. He came by and he sent his Secret Service in. He stopped the limo out front one time and sent his guys in to get cigars. Not a Lewinsky, by the way.
I was going to say.
But in fact, we did sell
cigar,
we did sell Lewinsky's at the time too. We had a Monica Lewinsky cigar back then, but so you never know who's going to walk in the door. It could be anybody, anytime, but it's a lot of fun because you do meet some interesting folks.
Well, that's one of the things that I love is that y'all put together some great sampler packs to introduce people to the different types of cigars y'all have. Your 6-pack sampler is fantastic. Y'all also have some great stuff where money goes to charities, that kind of stuff. Explain a little bit about some of those.
Well, we did some stuff for the floods, the hurricane. And we sent some money to J.J. Watt, and we try to help out when we can. We do a lot of I have literally thousands of calls each year for doing charities. We can only do a few. I do a lot with the Boxer Rescue here, and which I'm very fond of. But we try to make lots of different samplers so people can come in, because most everybody that comes in has never tried our cigars. Yeah, and you're not going to come in and try a box of cigars if you've never tasted one. Yeah. So what we try to do is we try to give you a good way to try. I always say that, look, if you come in and you try a sampler with 6 different cigars in there and you don't like any of them, you're lying. Yeah. You're lying. There's no way, because they're from all different regions, and I know that there's something in there that you're going to like. So we always try to say, look, if I pick one cigar for you, I may miss it. But 6 of them, I'm going to find one you like, and we want you to come back. And that's the whole point of doing the samplers. And we have all kinds of samplers. If you want Maduro samplers, we have those. If you want something that has a little bit of variety of everything, if you want something that's full body, we got that. Shapes, we have that. So we got you covered. There's nothing that you can come in and tell us that we probably don't make or haven't made sometime, and we'll find you something you'll like. That's for sure.
Yeah. Well, and Jeff, tell us one of your favorite cigar stories from your years of working the cigar patios and stuff like that, doing the high end cigar thing.
Well, one of the funnest things we ever did was I used to go out on the road and roll cigars at a lot of the biker rallies, the Harley rallies, the big ones, Sturgis, Daytona.
Oh, yeah.
And we would go for 10 days, 12 days, and sell cigars. That's very difficult. It's for a lot younger people than I am right now, that's for sure. But we always had a lot of fun there. We, would meet tons of people. Roll cigars, and we stayed at a campground there called at the Buffalo Chip in Sturgis, and you never knew from one night to the next what was going to happen. But we've had musicians, and ZZ Top came over to the booth. We've had tons of great things. You never know who, and sometimes I didn't even know who they were. Some of these folks, I don't even know who they are. Oh, he's a big star. I'm not the greatest at knowing everybody out there. So sometimes my staff or somebody has to say, "Oh, that was so and so," and okay, great. But lots of cool stories. It's like anything else. In 21 years, you come up with lots of interesting stuff. A lot of the stuff was down there on 6th Street. Every day was, it was.
Well, and that was something that we were talking about before the show, was the change on 6th Street going on right now, all the stuff going on, and y'all actually leaving your location of 21 years there and consolidating things up here at the factory location.
Well, it was a very sad. It was sad because you're somewhere for 21 years. It's part of you, and people knew us. We were there aren't half a dozen businesses down there that are still around. Yep. There's a few, but we were a mainstay down there. But it got so the city is so worried about things that don't really make a difference to the business community down there and harm the business community that it's a problem. It's dirty. They've taken every part of the city downtown, and they've spruced it up. They've rebuilt. They've made 4th Street nice, 2nd Street, Rainy Street, West 6th, Congress. Every place is nice over there except for Dirty 6th. And Dirty 6 is even worse than ever. And if you ever drive by 7th and Red River, you would think you were in a third world country. And the idea of putting the homeless population right next to 100 bars and drunk people and shenanigans and late night and everything else is just...
It's an explosive situation waiting to happen.
Come on, anybody that thinks that's a good idea is not very smart. Mm-hmm. And the fact that they're sitting on probably the most expensive land in town, where they could sell that land and build a monstrosity of a place if they really wanted to deal with the homeless population, but I don't think they really do. I really don't. And they're building tons of condos. If you look at the skyline, it's completely different. Mm-hmm. And yet they neglect and they put the homeless, right there in the heart of downtown. And with the K2 ambulance calls every time, and the crime and the panhandling and the dirtiness and the defecation and everything else, it just got to be so, and on top of that, it's not cheap to be down there. No. Everybody, they charge you 3 times as much to pick up your trash. They charge, the rents are very high. You do have built-in traffic, and I mean, it started us, and believe me, we had a lot of happy, good times and lots of good years down there. Yeah. But lately, it's just not the same, and I think that anybody our age, which is who I tracked. Down there was a lot of tourists and a crowd that is coming to visit. You wouldn't take, if you had people coming into town, you wouldn't take your friends or your family to 6th Street. You would drive them through there and say, here's 6th Street. Mm-hmm. But you wouldn't say, let's go over to Pete's or Dirty Dog and let's go party over there. No way. Yeah. You would take them over to eat at Sullivan's or a nice steakhouse or Eddie V's, and you'd go over to the 4th Street or you'd go somewhere else.
Somewhere that would traditionally have cigars.
Right, and that was nice. And, that was people weren't hounding you, and you could go into a nice place. That's not what we got. That's not what we got. And you see business go down. You see tourists not want to come there. It makes a big difference.
Well, and that's just it. If your target demo was 21 to 26, 27-year-olds, that'd be a totally different story.
Well, but when you can't park and it's downtown, either you're going to get people that are very close to downtown, people that live downtown, people that can get there easily. Those are going to be the locals that you get. And we did have a good amount of locals. Yeah. But people that live out here in North Austin, South Austin, Cedar Park, they're not going to go downtown, try to park and find to come in for a cigar. It just precludes them, and not that they would want to come down there with the atmosphere the way it was. But it is what it is. Yep. We're happy that we're here. This place is great. There's not a busier road in town than Burnett Road. This is very busy. We have now a much bigger place where we have our whole factory set up in the back, and then a big area where we have lots of tables and chairs. We are going to start opening till 10 o'clock in the evening so that we can get some folks that want to come after work and have a cigar. But by 10 o'clock, most folks are ready to be home, right? Nothing good happens after midnight for sure, but not much good happens after 10 o'clock. And you can come here and we open early in the morning. I'm here at 6 in the morning. So if you come by and you see a car out front, come on in. I'll sell you whatever you want. Nice. But that's we're happy to be here. And if you haven't come to this, come out and check out the rollers. It's a lot of fun to see this.
You can check out the rolling cam live on the website.
Yeah, that's and that's something that we did. The technology has changed over the years, but we came out with that roller cam about maybe 12 or 15 years ago, and we've kept it since then. It's been very popular, and people get on there from all over the world. I mean, we see IP addresses from everywhere.
Yeah.
And they watch the guys rolling cigars. I mean, it's pretty interesting. But if you've never seen it,
well,
check it out.
And y'all actually have like cigar rolling classes and stuff like that also.
That's one thing, because when we first started, there was no rollers. We went down to the factory in the Dominican Republic.
Yeah,
and we
tell
learned
us a little bit about this history of Bobalu.
Yeah, when we first opened, we were right in the heart of the biggest cigar boom that we've ever seen. You can remember it. Every celebrity was smoking cigars. You couldn't even get a cigar. Whatever. If you had something, it was the place to be. Cedar Street was the number one bar in the whole country for cigars. They ranked by Cigar Aficionado. But we didn't have any rollers. But we opened up a store in Houston first. My brother opened it up, and they learned how to that we were having a company in San Diego make our cigars for us. And after we got going, we said, well, we want to do this ourselves. So we went down to the Dominican Republic and we learned how to roll, and we brought it back, and we had a few of us were rolling. And we just happened to luck out and had a Cuban advocacy group, had a program here in town at Caritas, and they sent over a roller, Armando de Armas, and he came over, and from then on, we had a pipeline of Cuban rollers that came over to work from us. We just got lucky. It was the luck of the draw. Usually in Austin, Texas, you're not going to have a whole bunch of stable of Cuban cigar rollers, but we just got lucky. We were at the right spot at the right time, and things just happened. And we took advantage of it because I knew this was the way to do it. And we started hiring as many as we could. The funny thing is about a year after we opened, another outfit came and opened down in a place right down on West 6th Street where there's a restaurant down there now. And they completely ripped off our concept. I mean, they did every single thing. It's like the guy came in and took pictures of everything and then opened up down the street. And he started rolling cigars down there. But they had no idea of what they were doing. They had zero knowledge of cigars. They had zero knowledge of rolling cigars. They had zero knowledge of anything. And luckily for us, they didn't know anything, and they were out of business in about a year. So lots of people have tried it. It's not so easy.
Yeah.
It's not easy now. We're not allowed to advertise. We can't advertise on any place on the net. Google doesn't let us advertise.
We were talking about that earlier. Even the ad that I made for this show, not just the event, I could not boost the event because it had to do with tobacco. But I also couldn't boost the video because it had the label in it and everything else. And what's funny is that they'll gladly let me boost one at a brewery.
Yeah. It's like, they have you cannot advertise a cigar. You can like that's the worst thing on the internet. Really be honest. But that's the way it is. So we've had to work doubly hard to try to cultivate customers because we have to figure out how we can do it. So we take a little bit more of a personal approach. We somebody says something online, we're going to answer them.
Mm-hmm.
I mean somebody calls here, we answer the phone. We pick it up. Somebody has a complaint, they're going to talk to me probably.
Yeah, that's just it. The 1-800 number comes right here.
That's it. You can call and get us. And I don't know how many times that you make a call, sit on hold forever, not get anything done, and nobody likes that. Nobody answers anymore. Everything's automated. You order on the internet, whatever. So we've kept that.
And that's what I was saying a while ago. I know so many people that order cigars off the internet and stuff like that, and they typically have a decent experience. Once they find a distributor that they can go to, that they can trust, that gets them good product, that gets them stuff that's not dried out, that they don't have to keep in a humidor for like 2 months before they can smoke it. That's the one thing that I like about y'all's stuff, because I even did it where I ordered stuff and had it shipped just to see how it came out. I had stuff delivered to my brother's house in Katy, and fantastic.
Well, most companies do not, they don't take the time. They're not going to know the product. When you have a humidor filled with 50 different brands, you don't know everyone where they're coming from. You don't know how good they've kept their cigars. One of the problems in the cigar business is that people that were in the business 20, 30, 40 years ago, they're buying from the source. If you open up today, you're buying from not the source, not the distributor, not their distributor, but you're 4 or 5 stairs down.
Yeah.
And so whereas they get a price that's, say $50 wholesale, you're paying $80 wholesale. You can't compete. And that's one of the things that, we thought of, we don't have to compete with anybody. We're selling factory direct. Everybody buys straight from us.
Yep.
And everybody's going to have virtually the same price that I do have a wholesale price for wholesale customers, but you're going to get factory direct pricing. And you can't say that with other folks. There's lots of great cigars. I'm not going to, there are tons of great cigars, and there's never been more better tobacco. There's never been more better stock on stuff. People are coming out with cigars that are great, and there's a lot of good brands out there. There's lots of great stuff. But if you buy, you can buy let's say Drew Estates. They're probably one of the most popular right now. I mean, you're not going to talk to Jonathan Drew. I can promise you that.
Yeah.
You don't even know how those, once they left his factory, was the place that you bought them in Houston, were they keeping them properly? Did they leave them out? Were they humidified? Have they been sitting there for a month or for a year? Are they dry? I mean, you never know.
Exactly.
So here you're going to know if they don't, if they have a problem, we're going to replace them. We have a 100% guarantee where, you don't like them, I'm going to find you something you like. Because I'd rather have a happy customer than one that, is not happy, because they'll certainly tell people. The happy ones don't necessarily tell people, but they, or come by again. So,
well, and I just thoroughly enjoyed working my way through that Boxer. That was an absolutely fantastic and smooth smoke from beginning to end. It wasn't one. Some cigars. Take care, Dean. Some cigars tend to kind of heat up toward the end. They tend to get a little bit pungent sometimes. That really had a nice, smooth mellow all the way through it.
Cigars will change taste as you get. Obviously, when you get to the end, it's going to burn a little hotter.
Yeah.
Some guys will put a little bit extra in the tip of the cigar to give it a little bit more mildness as you get down. Some people will put a little bit more Ligero at the end, so you get a little bit more flavor at the first, where there's a lot more cigar that it pulls through.
Well, and explain some of that, the different types of filler, the different types of wraps that are used in some of y'all's brands, stuff like that, and what people might be looking for, let's say with pairings with food or something like that. Even yourself, Jeff Gottlieb, feel free to come in on that, because that's exactly what you did, was pair things and stuff like that for people on the high end.
Pairing can be a little tricky, because what tastes good to you, Jeff, might not taste good to me, and so I say this goes great with a lager, and they say, oh, I only drink that with a whiskey, or whatever. So everybody's got their own way to, and really that should be part of the fun of it, is trying to figure out what goes the best with the things. Not every food goes with every wine, but you may not go with the conventional. Who there's no right or wrong to this. We basically use fillers from the Dominican Republic, Nicaragua, and Honduras. In general terms, Nicaraguan is going to be more of your mild cigars. Nicaragua is going to be in the middle somewhere, and Honduras is generally stronger tobacco. This is general. There's exceptions on everything. We usually use binder leaf from Dominican Republic, Nicaragua, Ecuador, a few other places, and wrapper leaf comes from all over the world. We do a lot of Ecuadorian Sumatran. We do Connecticut Shade. We do Ecuadorian Connecticut. We do Habano from Nicaragua. We do lots of stuff. So you have to have lots of, and each one of these is going to have a little bit different taste, depending on how we blend it, how it's, what leaves we use, what wrapper we use, what size the cigar is. Everything matters on how it's going to taste. And part of the fun is you go through, it's like going through beers or wines. You never know. Am I going to like this one?
Yeah.
No, I don't. I like this one better. You can't like everyone the same. some are going to have a little bit more of a spicy taste. Some are going to be a sweeter overtone. Some are going to be very mild. Some are going to burn the back of your throat. Some are going to give your lips tingles. There's all kinds of different profiles. I don't usually taste leather and licorice and all that stuff, but I like the way the smoke tastes, and you can actually taste if it tastes good or not. I don't get, I'm not sure I taste all those flavors like that, but I do get the hint. If you take it in your nose, you can get sometimes a real hint of what the flavors are.
Yeah.
But, it's a personal preference thing, and there's no right or wrong. Nobody can say this is the best or this one is no good. Next person's going to like it. So, but we want to make sure every cigar is perfectly kept, lights perfectly, draws nice, and is a pleasurable experience. That's all I can do.
I've yet to have a Bobalu cigar canoe on me. Like, I've had numerous cigars that I've paid easily $5-6 a stick for it at your average cigar store, that kind of stuff.
Well, just like anything, these are handmade products. We do get some. I mean, there's times when I'll light up a cigar and it's plugged. That is just the fact of the matter. Every cigar manufacturer is going to have an issue here and there. The difference is if you have one and you tell me, I'm going to replace it, no questions asked. Because I believe you, it happens occasionally.
Sure.
And with all the leaves are different. There's never any time that there's going to be exactly the same. And no cigar is going to taste exactly the same because every single leaf is a little bit different, and you can bunch them in your hand, but it's going to be different from the last bunch you had. So everything's it's going to taste similar, but every cigar is going to be a hair different, and that's part of the fun of it. And the more a cigar sits and melds, the better it's going to be. Where on the other hand, I like them fresh. One off the roller's table.
Oh yeah.
For me, that's the way I like them. I like them even better than aged. I like them fresh. They're just smooth. They draw a little bit longer because they're a little bit more moist. I just like them that way, and I've smoked them that way most of the time. But that's the way I like them. And normally you wouldn't be able to get a cigar like that. You can't go to any cigar store and just pick out a cigar that they just made. But that's the way we like it. But we don't hold anything against, somebody doesn't like them fresh, so be it.
Mm-hmm.
We'll educate you and we'll tell you all about it, and you make your own choice. And, but it's amazing how much misinformation there is in this business. Everybody thinks they know a lot about it, but when it comes down to it, they really don't know a whole lot about it. And, when somebody comes in the door and they say, I want to try one of those Macadoodles, well, I just know in my own mind that this guy, may say he's a cigar smoker, a heavy cigar smoker, but I know he doesn't smoke cigars.
Yeah.
So I'm going to get him the mildest thing I can because I know he's not going to like a heavy cigar.
Yeah.
So you got to read people. You got to know and some guy that the same next customer comes in and you ask him, well, what's your favorite cigar? And he rips off 4 or 5 of them. He's a cigar smoker. He knows what he wants. He knows what he likes, and I'm going to try to get him exactly what's in his wheelhouse.
Yeah.
So it's a lot has to do with the people, helping folks. Our people here are very knowledgeable. They know what they're talking about, and you can be assured that, especially if you are a woman or a novice, don't be intimidated. You'll come in here. We will not.
And women, I'm here to tell you. I mean, you go join any of the cigar groups. You're going to see women with cigars with regularity.
That's right.
Like posting just as much as men.
I mean, the one thing, men, you need to know is if you want to have a great life and you want to smoke lots of cigars, get your wife or your girlfriend or whatever to smoke. Because then you're in. I mean, then she'll go out there and smoke with you. A lot of the women like the flavored stuff and whatever. Let's enjoy it. You'll have a great time. You'll have a good discussion. You'll probably talk about stuff you never would talk about when you're in a hurry and have the kids griping all the time or whatever. So
exactly.
That's the easiest way. In fact, when we do events, the first thing we do is we try to get the women involved, and we bring little tiny cigars for them.
Mm-hmm.
And if we can get them smoking, the guys are going to have a great time.
Oh, yeah.
Whatever kind of event it is, especially weddings. If the women are taken care of, the guys will have a great time.
Yeah.
If the women are mad,
it's
you're going to have a rough time.
You're going to have a really short cigar smoke.
I can't leave my cigar and walk away if my wife's around, because she's been known to grab them up and finish them.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's
nice.
We've gone to Miami. We've gone places and had cigars in a lot of different places. And she'll walk into the store and she'll get a petite Corona because she likes something a little smaller. I like something a little beamier.
Yeah. What do you normally reach for whenever you go into a humidor there, Jeff? Jeff Gottlieb.
I'm usually
just to differentiate between our Jeffs.
I'm usually a torpedo guy.
Okay.
I like a significant ring gauge, something 48 to 52 in the ring gauge. What I've got right now is a 60 ring gauge, which is it's a good volume of smoke. A lot of smoke is going to come out of it. My preference is darker wrappers. I mean, I'll smoke Maduros all night long. Beer choice with that would be porters and stouts, especially now with and we've discussed this before, all the barrel aged stouts that are coming out.
Yeah, all the whiskey aged.
Maduro wrappers with barrel aged beers are fantastic.
Yeah, absolutely.
They really work well against each other. Lighter wrap, as you get a little lighter into a Connecticut, then more of a whiskey cigar. Whiskeys and brandies.
Okay.
And you might talk to the next guy and he might say exactly the opposite.
I was going to say, right?
It's really, there is no right or wrong. If you find something you like, you like it. I mean, it's pretty simple in that aspect. But one thing a little tip for anybody, whether you're buying cigars here or not, is if you buy shapes, you like torpedoes, Jeff, any shape cigar is probably going to be made by one of the best rollers in the factory, wherever it's coming from.
Yeah.
So if you're buying a Torpedo or a Perfecto or something like that, it's not one of their junior rollers, that's for sure. So you're probably going to get a very nice made stick, regardless of the company.
Good information for our audience to know who are just getting into the world and venturing into the realm of cigars, cigar smoking and tobacconaria.
Now, one of the other things that comes up on an everyday basis is Cuban cigars.
Yeah, now, let's talk a little bit about that, because the ban on Cuba was lifted last year, and we had an episode in Houston where my buddy had some Cubans and we enjoyed them on air. But explain a little bit about that, because y'all do use some Habano seed tobacco that's grown in Nicaragua.
Correct. Now, if you go to Cuba personally yourself, you can bring back a couple of boxes now for personal use. Okay, it's done. Now, people go. One of the funniest things is that people go down to the Caribbean all the time, Mexico, Cozumel, Belize, wherever it may be, and they will come back with Cuban cigars. And I'm going to tell you that the chance of them being real down south of the border is slim and none, and slim just left town. Everything is fake. Unless you go into a Casa de Habano store, government-run store, you're not going to probably get a real one.
That was the funniest thing when I ran the cigar room at Louis. Was I'd have guys, they'd blow in and they're bragging about, I got this Cohiba and I got a box of them and this and that. And I could look at them and just look at the label, just look at the ring and say, fake.
Yeah.
Monte Cristo's fake. Because of the typeface on the ring or the placement of the dots. Jeff's aware that the squares on the label, where the name band is versus all the dots, and it's like, no.
They've gotten better now.
Yeah.
And they, now they have holograms on there, and they have copied those. But second tip of the night, if you ever go down to the Caribbean and anybody tries to sell you a Cuban cigar and it comes in a box with a clear plastic plexiglass top, it's fake. Fake. They don't make cigars like that. And you'll see, one with, 5 different brands in there, and they're fake. Yeah. And the problem is that when you get those home and you smoke those, you don't know what's in there. It's usually floor sweepings. It has twine. It has, they found all kinds of stuff. You do not want to smoke those. I promise you, they're not good.
Yeah, pesticided tobacco, things like that.
They're actually sweep the floor, and that's what they're going to make the cigars out of. And you can get on the internet and you can Google cutting open a fake Cuban cigar, and you'll see what's in there. You'd be floored. You do not want to smoke those. And people come back with those all the time. People bring a gift for somebody. Here's what I got. They'll post it on the net. And people are just, going to tell them this is fake.
I see that at least once or twice a week on the cigar groups.
Now, personally, I can, if you showed me a cigar and I looked at it without a label on it, I could tell you if it's Cuban or not.
I used to be able to smell the difference. I could look at it, see the oil on the wrapper, and a Cuban cigar has we got into talking about terroir with wines before, but the same thing exists with cigars. And a Cuban wrapper has a very specific look, has a sheen to it.
Silky.
And the nose on it is unmistakable. And that combined with what the label looks like,
and the triple cap, it'll have a triple cap. The cap it'll go around 3 times. It'll look beautiful. If you don't see that, it's not real. It hadn't been rolled by a Cuban. Now you can find that because the Cubans sometimes make them in their house and stuff, and I don't blame them because they go home from the factory and they make $8 a month, and then they take a cigar home every day and make a box and go out to the square and sell it for $120.
Yeah,
I would do it too. I'd be doing it too, but you're not getting the real thing. If you ever look at Cubans, they're lined up perfectly. The cigars are exactly the same height. The labels are lined up. It's beautiful. You see anything where they're not in there, they're cattywampus, they're turned. It's just not. They don't come like that.
And I think that's going to be kind of the problem as the Cuban cigars become more legal in the U.S. Because you have the largest market in the world, 90 miles. So you're going to see demand. So you could get Cuban cigars in the U.S. right now. I could get a box of them in probably an hour because I have a phone number of a guy that I've worked with before. But what you'll find is that the quality is not going to be there as this demand explodes.
Yeah.
And the pricing is not going to drop. Everybody says, oh, well, once we can buy Cuban cigars, you're going to be able to get them. It's like, for the longest time, a Monte Cristo number 2 was $15. Pretty much anywhere in the world, it was $15 because you got it at a Habano store.
Yep.
But now you're seeing a Monte Cristo number 2 for $40.
Yeah.
And it's probably its provenance is suspect, to put it mildly.
The Cuban tobacco and Cuban cigar industry has been at its peak. I mean, they cannot make any more cigars. They just don't have the capability. You open up the largest cigar market in the entire world on top of what they're already doing. Where are they going to get those?
Yeah. And
meanwhile, down in some of the other Caribbean countries, I mean, for a $400 box of cigars, there's no, that rivals drug money.
Yeah.
And it's a lot safer.
Yeah.
A counterfeit cigar doesn't get you near as much trouble as, bringing in cocaine or something. So there is nowhere to go. And people think that, the funniest thing, I always get people that want to come in and, where are your Cubans? And I say, well, you got $30?
Back here rolling cigars.
Like Seinfeld. There, we got the Cuban.
I was waiting for that.
But they want one of those $5 Cubans. Where are those at? We don't have it.
Right there on the internet.
But the fact of the matter is, most cigar smokers' taste would not be the cigar that they would pick.
Mm-mm.
If you went into you go over to Europe and they have all the cigars from everywhere. Not everybody goes in there and picks a Cuban.
Yeah.
I mean, if you want something mild, you probably pick Dominican. So the taste here would not, it would be you'd try it. Because,
well, it's still a very select
cachet.
market.
It's a cachet.
Exactly.
And everybody likes to say, I smoke Cubans. Sure you do. I know. But it's, they probably wouldn't like the Cuban. So
the last Cuban I smoked, I got at Atlantis. At the Habano store at the Atlantis, and it was delightful.
Yeah.
But I would much rather drive from the Domain down here to Jeff's store and buy a cigar that was just made. And I can also say, now you were talking about private label stuff. Jeff did a box for a group. We go on an annual guys trip to North Texas. It was the 10th year of the trip. They made a gorgeous box of cigars. Actually, I think it was the Criollo. and they were fantastic. I've never had a plug, never had bad structure. You were talking about canoeing.
Yep.
They've always been great. If I can get that driving, a mile down the road from my office.
Yeah.
For
on your way home.
For about a quarter of the price.
Yeah. Why wouldn't I do that?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's, and Cuban cigars are not, you see a box for $120. It's not real.
It's not real.
I mean, the Cohibas are $300.
Not when you're talking the average price of $15 to $20 a stick.
Yeah. So, and people, they'll go up to the stand at the resort, or they'll go, get off the boat, and they'll go get there's a guy over there, he's selling them. And I mean, I get it.
They walk by your towel at the beach.
Yeah.
The guy's got a bag, and he's got, Cubano. Right here.
Yeah, exactly.
$10.
Exactly. $10 or 2 for 20, or 2 for 50.
Yeah.
They can't be real because they don't wholesale them for that. They're more than that wholesale. So just be aware. People come back all the time.
Yeah.
It's
caveat emptor.
Yeah, exactly. Buyer beware. It's like anything else. But the thing with the fake ones is really alarming, because if you see what's in there, you just would not want to smoke it.
It's like a hot dog. You don't want to know.
Worse than a hot dog, because at least you do have some semblance. At least the hot dog tastes good. Those Cuban cigars are not very good.
Yeah.
Well, and as we get ready to go out here on this 150th episode, number one, we're encroaching on an hour and a half already. It flies by, Jeff. It just flies by whenever you're having good smoke, good conversation, and really taking the time to have conversation.
This is like one cigar I've had. I smoked one cigar. We shot the shit, and now
I'm not going to lie. I've had 3 this evening. I enjoyed the triple capa before the show because I had not had one of y'all's, and I absolutely loved it. I'm torn between whether I want the doble capa or the triple capa for the Dudes and Beer box, but we will be getting a box of Dudes and Beer cigars to give away to people at live events for online prizes, all that kind of good stuff.
And let me also say, anybody that's listening right now, if you go over to Bobalu.com, you can. We have a new game that you can spin the wheel.
Oh, I love
it's a free. There's nothing. I can tell you the best cigars are the free cigars.
Yes.
They taste the best, regardless of who you are. Anything that's free tastes pretty damn good.
That's how I started off with Bobalu. I actually, just before the show that you were on almost a year ago, it was close to.
Was it? Wow.
Yeah.
That long?
Yeah. It's been a
flies,
quick minute or two.
Just like,
it was like episode 100-something. Yeah. But
like
just before that, I went online because your promotions guy gave us a promotion for a 6-pack, and I ordered a couple of those, went and picked them up, and just fell in love with the brand.
Well, this is even better because you can play. All you got to do is just put your name and email in there, and you'll spin the wheel. And you win free everybody
cigars.
Wins something.
Yeah.
And you're probably going to win a nice cigar of some sort, one of my Sun Growns or one of my Yellow Labels or Super Forte. That's it. You win a cigar. If you live here in town, you can go ahead and come by and we'll give it to you. If you got to order it online so we know it's one per person, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
But you can come have a pickup here. If you're not, please add something in to your order and get a free cigar. We'll buy the first one. But we like to give stuff away. We like to tempt you to try to buy it, but it's a fun little game.
I get the promotional emails from you guys on a weekly basis. Y'all are always
do it
daily.
Can I still spin the wheel if I'm already on the mailing list?
Yes. Anybody can spin it. You get one of those prizes per customer. But you can win it. If you believe me, we have stuff going on just about every day. Well, but this is a new thing, so
and y'all have some new stuff going on here on location too. Y'all have vinyl night going on where you can come by with your favorite piece of wax, spin it, enjoy some cigars with people of like mind.
That's right. Since we closed the 6th Street store and it was more of a nighttime place, we're going to do a little bit more nighttime here. We're open till 10 o'clock from Tuesday through Saturday. Not midnight or anything, but it's enough to come by after work. And we're going to have nights where we play records. We're going to have rolling nights where you can roll your own cigars. We're going to have we're working on some beer and whiskey nights with cigars that we can have tastings and that kind of thing.
And I just want to take a quick poll here amongst listeners that are in the audience. Would anybody be interested in coming to a rolling class? Coming and taking a rolling class?
Let me tell you something. If you had any hand in your rolling a cigar yourself, you're going to like it.
Well, and I think that would be fun. Number one, to sit here on the table while we're doing a live show and learn to roll a cigar. I think we're going
to let you do a little bit of it. I mean, obviously the master would be over you, so that we want you to have something good. But they're going to let you pretty much do it and show you how and fix it for you and whatever. But I promise you, when you take home your own cigars that you had a little hand in it, when you light that thing up, you're going to like it. There's no way you're not going to like it if you had a hand in making it. So it's a lot of fun. You'll learn a lot about cigars. That's what we do over here. We teach you about cigars. If you don't know, you'll know a lot more when you leave. If you don't want to know anything about cigars, you just want to get one, so be it. We're here for you too. But these are going to be some really cool nights that you can't get anywhere else. You can't do it anywhere else.
Yeah.
Where are you going to go over to, again, ABC Cigars and tell them you want to roll some cigars that night? They're going to laugh. We don't do that. But it's a lot of fun. So we'll let everybody know about that. But it's a lot of fun. We did it before. We've done it once before, and everybody had a great time.
Well, and once again, the easiest way, folks, hop online, spin the wheel, join the mailing list. You'll get all of the updates for events. You'll get all of that stuff. You'll get all the fantastic specials easily once a week. They're running a great cigar special where you can get an insane amount of cigars for great prices. They sell lighters. They sell accessories, cases, all kinds of stuff. We actually have some prizes here for the audience that we'll be giving out at the end of the show, both from Bobalu Cigars and Dudes and Beer, as a thank you for making it out to the 150th episode tonight. Once again, Jeff Lipton, I cannot thank you enough for coming on tonight.
Yeah, thank you, guys.
Same with you, Jeff Gottlieb, coming on and sharing your vast experience with the cigar culture. And on that note, everybody, long ashes to everybody as you listen. Make sure while you're online checking stuff out, BobaluCigarCo.com.
No, Bobalu.com, Bobalu.com.
There you go.
Search it. It'll come up. But check us out. And if you have any questions, just holler at me. I'll answer your question.
While you're online, make sure to stop off by dudesandbeerpodcast.com. That's where you can get all the latest and greatest nudes from Dudes and Beer, as well as all of our episodes, the regular weekly episodes, the Dads and Beer episodes, the Thinking Deeply, the soon-to-be Jumping to Conclusions episodes, as well as the Knowledge Vault episodes. We just started a new blog called Jumping to Conclusions, where we literally just jump to conclusions, folks. Very entertaining, good think pieces. So stop on by, check that out. We'll soon be launching the Dudes and Beer Fantasy Football League this season. Very, very excited about that. We should be having a visit from our commissioner here in the next episode or two. And on that note, everybody, thank you so much for tuning into this episode of the Dudes and Beer podcast. I am Chris Jordan, your host. Jeff Lipton has been our guest. Steven has been here with us, as well as our good friend Jeff Gottlieb. And remember, everyone, if you can't be good at it. Thanks for listening to this episode of the Dudes and Beer podcast. To listen to our audio streams or chat with us live, download the official Dudes and Beer app for Android and iDevices, available on Google Play and iTunes markets. For more episodes, content, and information, visit us online at dudesandbeer.com. You can also find our episodes on Breach.tv, iHeartRadio, Spreaker, SoundCloud, iTunes, YouTube, Stitcher, or your favorite podcast service. Dudes and Beer is a proud member of the HC Universal Network family of podcasts. For more about our sponsors and other podcasts on this network, visit hcuniversalnetwork.com. Thanks for listening, everybody, and until next time, drink responsibly.